I talk a lot on how you can save and invest more money on this channel, but we can't talk about saving without the other side, spending. I'm a huge proponent of money dials where each dial controls a certain category in your life. So those categories I believe you should spend lavishly on because they bring you a lot of value and joy. But for the categories you don't really care about, you should be turning that down and relentlessly cutting costs. And so for those dials, I have 10 questions you should be asking yourself before you make any purchase. But before we begin, I want to give a huge shout out to my buddy Frankie from The Money Resolution. He shares his personal finance journey and talks a lot about financial independence and personal finance in general. He has a ton of high quality content. Be sure to check him out and let him know I sent you. And now let's dive into those 10 questions. Before you consider purchasing any item or service, you should be asking yourself, what purpose does it serve? You want to really hammer down why you even want this thing in the first place. Is this something you just saw and you want to impulsively buy it because it looks good? Or is it something you've actually thought about and will actually bring value into your life? On top of this, does it serve a practical or an emotional purpose? Now, there's no right or wrong answer to any of these questions. With a practical item, you will see its value and have tangible results. The purpose of items with practical value can easily be distinguished, such as glasses, which I'm blind without them. Emotional items have much more subtle value to them, and a good example of this would be candles. We could totally get by without having to purchase a single candle in our entire lives, but for me, I really like candles because they set the mood and make my room smell great, so I like to have at least one in my bedroom at all times. Another purely emotional purchase that I've been making recently are plants. Now you could say with these, they serve the practical purpose of making your air cleaner, but honestly, I can't really tell the difference. I buy these for purely emotional reasons because it brings me a lot of happiness just taking care of them and watching them grow. So again, before you purchase anything, the first question you should be asking yourself is, what purpose does it serve? Next question is, do you already have something that serves the same purpose? We live in a society where it's very normal to upgrade your phone every single year, but your old phone, if you haven't been dropping it all the time, works just as well. It gets the same job done, you already have it, so you don't have to spend money on the newest thing. Now, if that old phone or laptop or whatever device you have is degrading to a point where you can't really tolerate it anymore, then it's a good time to consider upgrading it. This is something you're gonna have to think deeply about and really determine whether you need a new item that already can be served with an item you already have. Now, if you go past this item and say, hey, it serves the same purpose, but it does it a lot better, then it does make sense to upgrade. One thing that I've upgraded recently is going from a regular toothbrush to an electric toothbrush. Both toothbrushes serve the same purpose of cleaning my teeth, but the electric toothbrush does it so much better, and it also makes brushing my teeth fun. And health is something that I will obviously spend money on. Can you borrow it from a friend? Now, if this is an item that you really only need to use a couple of times, you may want to consider just borrowing it from a friend. Now, with the example of a toothbrush, you should not be borrowing that from anyone. You might be considering getting a bike and riding throughout the summer, but you're not really sure whether you'll enjoy it. So instead of purchasing an entire bike outright, you can borrow it from a friend and test it out over the weekend. Borrowing and testing out an item is a great way for you to decide whether you truly need this item. So before you purchase any item, think about your friends or your neighbors and consider asking them to borrow what they have. Can you buy it fully in cash? If you can't buy an item fully in cash, then you should not be purchasing it at all. A lot of times we just simply swipe our credit cards without even looking at our bank statements, and that could be really dangerous. Credit cards have some of the highest interest rates, so if you are borrowing money on your credit card, you should be paying that off in full before it starts to accrue. Now, there are a couple of circumstances where you might want to consider going into debt to purchase these items. If you need this item to survive, then yes, you should purchase it. And if you don't need it to survive, ask yourself, will it increase my earning potential? If you're working online and getting a more powerful laptop will improve your efficiency, then you should consider getting that laptop. If you want to dive into a certain profession, you may need to get education that gives you certifications or degrees that let you jumpstart your career. You can also leverage debt to increase your earning potential through investments. One example of this is taking out a mortgage, which puts you in debt, but allows you to make money if you have that as an investment property. If you are using debt to increase your earning potential or to buy an investment, then it could be worth it. But for other items, if you can't purchase it fully in cash, then don't buy it. Will you feel positive about this purchase in the future? A lot of the times our purchases are done on impulse. We see something, we like it, and then we buy it. But before you make a purchase, I really want you to think about whether you'll be happy about it in the future. So, for example, fast food. If you know that you won't feel happy about purchasing fast food every day for an entire month, then you should not do it. But if you treat yourself once a week or a couple times a week, then you'll feel a lot better about it. If the answer to this question is that you feel positive about it right now, but you're not really sure about it in the future, then chances are you probably won't like it. One purchase example of this that I made was I bought this plant. I was at the garden center and I saw this gorgeous plant and I just had to buy it. I felt really good at the time buying it, but then when I brought it home and did research on it, I realized that it's very challenging to take care of. It's a very high maintenance plant, and if I knew what I was getting myself into, I would never have bought it. In this case, I didn't do any research on the item, I just impulsively bought it. If you feel positive about it in the moment, but aren't really sure how you're gonna feel about it in the future, then really consider not buying it. Are you buying it for yourself or someone else? If you're buying this item for yourself, then think about whether it's a want or a need. Chances are it's a want, and make sure it brings value and joy to you. But if you are purchasing it for someone else, make sure that it actually serves a purpose for them. Gifts are great ideas to show you really care about someone, but I feel like a lot of the times gifts are wasted. Either the person receiving it already had an item that serves the same purpose and likes their current item better, or they simply aren't interested in the gift and get no value from it. Really think about whether the person receiving the gift will actually derive value and like it. And if you aren't sure whether someone will like an item, consider gifting them an experience, whether that's a dinner, an adventure, or anything that gets you both involved and building that bond. Do you want or need something else more? This is really where minimalism comes into play, and it's about prioritizing what you truly need and want. People ask me how I'm able to afford to travel so much, and the simple answer is I save up money for travel. I drive an old, cheap car with great miles per gallon. I don't eat out every day. I save as much as I can in rent. And so all of this money that I'm saving in areas I don't necessarily care about is directed into travel. Spending money on the categories you really care about will make you feel more fulfilled. Even if you're spending the same amount of money, because you're directing your money into the categories you really enjoy, you will feel much more abundance in your life. Also, nowadays, I rarely pay for travel at all because I've been into the travel hacking credit card game. Travel credit cards have huge sign-up bonuses that they give out to people as incentive for them to get their credit card. My personal favorite that I use is the Chase Sapphire Preferred, where if you spend $4,000 within the first 3 months, you get 75,000 points, which equates to roughly $1,000. I'll leave a link in the description below. Consider applying for that card because it would really help this channel. Next up is a two-part question. Is this the best option in terms of quality and price? If you're going to spend your hard-earned money, you want to make sure you are getting the best bang for your buck in terms of quality and price. If you intend to use this item for many years, then I want to emphasize the quality part. Getting a quality laptop that'll last you 5 years is probably cheaper than getting 2 laptops every 2.5 years. People also say anything that connects you to the floor, you should not skimp on quality. This includes your shoes, chair, and bed. In terms of price, make sure you are shopping around. A lot of stores or online marketplaces will have these exact items that you want for various prices. If you want a product that's completely new, shop around at different stores or consider eBay where you can buy items that have never been opened. If you're willing to go secondhand for the item, there are a lot of different online marketplaces that you could be using. I personally use Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, and eBay a ton. Alright, another plant example. I saw a 3-pack of these in various sizes on Amazon for $30, but then I checked OfferUp and I saw the exact same item going for less than $5. There are incredible deals going on all of these online marketplaces. They might not have the exact item you want, but if you're willing to shop around and wait, I'm sure you will find some massive steals. Lastly, have you considered it for 3 days? This is a question I ask myself a lot to help curb emotional impulsive spending. A lot of the times after 3 days, you simply forget you ever wanted the item and then you just go about your life not having to waste money. And remember, every dollar you don't spend on one thing will be a dollar you can spend on the categories you care about. If you have any other questions you ask yourself before you make a purchase, leave a comment down below and I would love to hear about it. Subscribe and join the FamiLei for more money talks. I'll see you all later. Peace.